Welcome to this lecture, which is going to be about formatting your pages for more optimal SEO optimization. In the lecture, we're going to talk about things like title tags, meta descriptions, and your URLs. Why does my page look like that in Google search results? I hear that all the time. This is an example of my Rapid Action Central site, and one of the things you can see on the search results when we search for just the name of the site, that there are a couple of key elements. So you have the title tag, which is effectively the name of the page that is my homepage. You have a meta description, which is there for selling the click, and then you have these site links that are actually an indication of good site structure. So Google knows exactly what your site's about, and it thinks that the person who's searching will potentially want other pages as well. So it's important when you set up some of this stuff that you do it right from the very beginning. You'll want to get these elements immediately set up correctly. The Yoast WordPress SEO plugin makes this really easy. We're going to talk about that in another lecture on how you set it up and why it's important. And these aspects are the key elements of good on-page site structure. So let's talk about title tags. Google's recently updated the title tags. So the title now needs to be no more than about 55 characters. As you saw in the example, there's only so much length, and it used to be a fixed number of characters. Now it's actually pixel length, and it depends on the screen and those kind of device specific issues. But if you keep it to less than 55 characters, you should be safe. And keywords, they cap them, so you'll see the capitalization of the keywords that you're searching for, and that skews the size. So if you go over the 55 characters, you could potentially push off some of the text on your title tags. So you really want to keep that to 55 characters or less. So what needs to be in my title? If you're using a keyword, it's probably a good idea to put it near the front of the title. Google doesn't overtly say it, but research indicates that keywords that are nearer the beginning of titles and in earlier parts of content do seem to get picked up more. So if you're going to use a keyword in your title, then you probably want it at closer to the front of the title. And obviously each page needs to have a unique title. So that is an important ranking element. So every time you create a new piece of content or a new page, make sure that the title is unique to that page. And it's an important piece of short sales copy. And again, these things are all about selling the click. So that's when somebody finds you, it's a compelling reason to actually click on your link and go to your page. Meta description, this is where you describe what's on your page to the search user. Again, it's all about, selling the click. You don't want to be keyword stuffing it, and you don't want to be too hypey, and you don't really want to put words in there that Google's not going to like, because they'll effectively drop it, which you'll see in a second. And you want to keep it to under 150 characters, or about 150 characters if you can. But I set my site meta description on my page, and Google's ignoring it. I have had this happen to me. It happens to everybody at some time. Google doesn't automatically use your meta description. They will sometimes discount your meta description because there are keywords in there that aren't actually on your page, or you're using some spammy clickbait words like free and super discount and those kind of things. So what they then do is they go down and they find the first piece of content, first 155, 160 characters of content, and they put that in there. So you'll often see meta description that's effectively the part of the first paragraph of your page. So if you see that, it tells you that Google's not particularly happy with the meta description that you've actually set for your page. URL formatting. Now, this is something that WordPress gives you really good control over, how you name your URLs. It can make it very easy for people to manually type in your key pages. So if you have a page, yoursite.com / October sales or Christmas sales, then having a really simple URL for people that they can remember is not only good for SEO, it's just also a good naming convention that you can follow. And use keywords if they match the page, but don't keyword stuff your URLs, because eventually Google just realizes that you're keyword stuffing and discounts it anyway. So it's not really worth doing. Now, one of the things you saw in that example were the site links. So what are they? First of all, you can't control site links being displayed in Google. It's a sign of a good internal structure that says Google understands the navigation you've set up and the content you have on your site. It basically just helps users go to more relevant pages. This isn't something that you can overtly control, but you need to do You need to do the work to make sure that you give yourself every opportunity to have site links. So it's important for you to have that structure we talked about before and all the internal linking, and make it very easy for the Google crawlers to get through your site. And if you do, then you get this sort of bonus of having site links in your search results. For summarization purposes, I guess it's important that you understand that you need to do these things right. You got to have good title tags. You got to have good meta descriptions. They should be unique for every page. You can use keywords wherever they're relevant, but don't just stick them in there just to get them in there, because eventually, Google just knows what you're trying to do, and they actually maybe don't punish you, but they don't reward you either. So you're missing an opportunity. And again, that opportunity is about selling the click. Visitors matter, not your search rankings. You really want to have people coming to your site so you can interact and engage with them. And if you misuse your title tags, your meta descriptions, or you have weird URLs, then you're missing out on that visitor. And that's what this is all about, is getting more people to come to your site.